Hi, welcome to Around the Microphone at TouchUps Salon. I'm Anthony and this is Courtney. Today we're going to be talking about natural gray transformations. So this is the process of going from colored hair back to your natural gray hair. So hi Courtney.
Hi Anthony.
Would you tell our viewers a little bit about your hair career and how you came to be a corrective color specialist?
I went to Paul Mitchell School, Phoenix, and I guess when I first decided I loved corrective color is when we had a client come in and she had extremely fine, thin hair and she was just wanting blonde highlights. So the owner of the school, she said, Courtney, here's what you're gonna do. You're gonna go through it and you're gonna basically take strand by strand, use this and that, and I did it and I literally was taking strand by strand in the hair and I loved it. I love detail work and I love just every little hair, like taking it and making it perfect. It turned out amazing and she loved it, and that's when I kind of realized I loved doing detail work and corrective color.
Awesome. So how did you come to be so passionate about natural gray transformations? Because it's kind of a weird thing, right? You know, we get into hair as professionals to color and cut and do all these transformations, but you're taking people actually back to their natural place. So how did that become a passion of yours?
Again, with the detail work, I love that. But I also love embracing our natural hair color as well as when we age. I think it's beautiful. I think gray hair is beautiful, rather than sticking with that color that kind of doesn't fit your face anymore as it did when you were younger. And I feel like women should embrace their natural gray.
Who's a great candidate for going back to gray? Say they've been coloring their hair for the past, 15 years, and they're ready to go back to gray. What would be ideal for you as a corrective color specialist?
That would be someone who has been only getting their hair professionally colored, ideally. It's not a perfect world, and we don't always have that, but someone who's just been professionally getting their base touch-ups, as well as using professional products on their hair, following the guidelines of their stylist, just to have healthy hair that is able to go through the lengthy process of a color correction.
Sure. Is there a certain darkness or lightness that is easier for a professional to deal with? Like if someone's been going black for 5 years, is that a problem?
Yes. I'm thinking of in hairstylist terms, so I'm thinking level 7 is probably the most perfect.
Dark natural blonde.
Yeah, ideal client to take. It would be the easiest, but say someone who's level 4 or below, dark brown, I would say that's a little more difficult. Could be pricier, lengthier, more damaging to go from that low of a level all the way up to like gray.
So some clients are going to come in really dark, some clients are going to come in really light. How much time difference is that really going to make in a service experience? Like if I come in and I have a level 7 dark natural blonde that I've been doing and I've got a lot of white, how long does that normally take versus somebody who's probably more likely candidate from what I've seen in the salon here, who might be a level 3 or a level 4 dark brown? What's the difference in the process for that?
Oh my goodness. Time for one, applications. So someone that's lighter, I may only have to apply one time throughout the service, maybe twice, depending on how many layers of that color is on there. Someone who is level 3 that you're saying, I probably would have to go in and reapply certain place. So, and it's literally, like I said before, taking strand by strand of the hair. So thinking about that.
That sounds so tedious.
I know, I love it.
Whenever a client comes to me, I'm just like, hey, I know who you should go see. You should go see Courtney because she loves this stuff.
Yes. It's kind of therapeutic to me too, to just do it that way.
So what's like the longest color corrective experience somebody's had to endure?
In one day?
In a single sitting?
12 hours.
12 hours?
Yes.
Any tips for somebody that's looking at a 12-hour service?
Yes. Bring a phone charger. Bring a book. Bring any work. Snacks for sure. We provide drinks here, so we have beverages here.
Feel free to take the bathroom breaks when you need them.
Yes, for sure. Bathroom breaks. Anything just to do while you're sitting.
What's the maintenance after the service? Like, because I assume that you try to get as close as possible in the initial service experience, but what does somebody need to do to maintain it so that they can then grow out their natural without having to come back in too many times?
Maintenance would be the take-home products that I prescribe for them. Coming in that every 8 weeks or so for a fresh toner.
Which is what exactly?
Toner is something that over like a gloss, a glaze, to tone out any unwanted tone, say like yellowish brassiness you hear a lot, to make it the ashy gray color that you're looking for. And that eventually fades because it is a demi-permanent color. Lasts 6 to 8 weeks depending on how often you're washing, what products you're using, but it's really healthy for the hair to be put on anyway. So it adds shine, it adds amino acids.
Some important things.
Yes, it needs upkeep every 8 weeks or so.
Right, and a demi-permanent color basically lives predominantly on the outside of the hair shaft versus the inside of the hair shaft where permanent color is. So Courtney has to break through the permanent color inside the hair shaft, and then once she eliminates enough of it, then she can put this demi on top of it to make it that perfect silver shade. Correct?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. If someone's considering changing to gray, but they don't necessarily want to do it right now, they're just like, okay, I'm 50% gray, maybe in a year or two, I'm going to want to make that transition, What would your advice to them be as far as what they should plan with their stylist going forward to make that transition easy or just less difficult?
I would say treatments are probably number one to prep the hair for the lengthy service and everything it'll be going through during the service. So like masks, deep conditioning, bonding treatments for sure, 100%.
Starting these a year before.
Yes.
Get the hair really healthy.
Yes, for sure.
Awesome.
As well as, if it's possible, depending on how gray they are, maybe switching to a less permanent base touch-up, or even a higher level, transitioning slowly to get lighter rather than staying with that level 3, level 4 base touch-up.
That makes a lot of sense. Yes, I know that as my clients tend to get older and more gray, we walk them up the scale. So 1 is black and 10 is bright blonde. A lot of people, they start at 5 or a 6, it's a natural brown. But as they get older, you take them to a 7, and then they add some highlights, and then they're an 8, and that just helps them diffuse that, which then if they want to go natural gray, it's a much simpler process, correct?
Yes, for sure. That's why I'm blonde-ish, to hide my grays.
That's right. Blend them away
Yes.
with blonde. We call them natural platinum around here. If someone was going into that service next month, would there be a lot of different things that you would suggest for them, or basically the same plan?
More or less the same. We probably wouldn't do any more color on them. For sure would not, because stop coloring it. I would suggest different ways to wear their hair to kind of hide that regrowth, because there are ways, or there are also root sprays that you could use.
We love
at
our
home.
root sprays.
Yes, just if you absolutely can't stand looking at it. So that's another thing. Hats. I love hats. I usually wear a hat.
Yeah, a cute hat covers all grays. It's amazing. It's like 100% coverage every time. From your point of view, what are the biggest challenges of the actual service experience? Like, you love the highlighting individual hairs, but what do you run into commonly that an inexperienced colorist would have a lot of difficulty with?
Everybody's hair is different. You can't predict how it's going to lift, how quickly it's going to lift, if the hair can withstand the lightener and the whole process that we're doing it. So compromising the hair would be one, because I've taken one person.
What does compromising the hair mean?
Pushing it past anything it can handle to where it's on the verge of breaking off.
Or breaks off.
We
don't break people's hair.
Yes, no.
But people can.
Yes. So leaving that lightener on way too long, or just improperly formulating with applications, say putting a higher volume developer on someone that has compromised hair already, in those foils, in those tight foils that are all together that are heating up, it could break off. As well as banding. So banding is when it's been layered on over and over throughout years, different permanent colors, and you'll get, when you lighten that hair, you'll see literally bands throughout the hair. So that becomes quite difficult because you have to go through and reapply on only those bands and stay off the rest of the hair.
Sounds complicated.
Yes. So it could initially break if you improperly do that.
Is this why people are so militant, professional stylists, about not box coloring?
Yes.
Does that provide a special issue?
Yes, because I was taught that box color contains metallic dyes, which it's not that great for the hair, but it does its job. It's not necessarily bad for your hair. I never say box color, oh my gosh, like it's so bad, but
if you want to get it out.
If you want to get it out, it's hard because metallic dyes, they stick to the hair really well. That's why people love box color a lot, because it stays. It doesn't fade as quickly, but it's not that great. If you ever want to change up your hair in the future, you become a color correction client.
Guaranteed,
you're paying
pretty much.
Lots of money to get that box dye out. So
yeah. Ever tell somebody to just cut their hair?
No.
Oh, I do. Like, wow, your hair is really dark and you want really blonde, or gray. If they're okay with a shorter haircut, sometimes we'll do that just to decrease the amount of time that it takes.
Yes, if they're okay with losing length, for sure, 100%, because then that's less product, less time, it could cut the cost down a lot to where eventually they could probably afford it.
Yeah, and usually their ends are the spots that get the most compromised. Mm-hmm. So I know the picture we're going to show you, we cut 5-6 inches off this lady's hair, and that allowed her hair to do much better with the service, because if we would have left this 5 or 6 inches, it probably would have gotten very compromised by the end of the service experience, because it was so dark.
Yes.
Yeah. We're going to put this on screen for you guys to see, but here's the client's initial starting point. Now tell me about what she had going on and what her goals were.
So she had been coloring her hair professionally for, I want to say 30 years. And she was just ready to go gray. But she had years of overlapping color, dark level 3. But she was ready to just be done with being that client that comes in every 3 to 4 weeks for her base touch-up.
Yeah, the darker you are and the lighter you are, the more you're going to see us.
Yes.
Or you're going to be putting the root sprays on all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so then she came back in. I know that I cut her hair a lot, and then she came back in, and then what did you guys do that first service experience?
So the first service, I did my tedious application of your hair in a foil, and then not necessarily every hair, just where she was the most gray, and everything left out, I retoned to a ashier natural color that was her dark to begin with, and then I pushed it as far as I could. I reapplied. Her hair was a bit compromised after the whole 10-hour service, so I pushed it as far as I could that time and toned her as ashy as possible, and then had her come back in 8 weeks or so. But I sent her home with the Olaplex, proper shampoo, conditioner, leave-in products, so that her hair could be at its best for the next session.
Sure.
And to ideally get her where she needed.
Then what'd you do? So you lifted her. She was a little compromised. You sent her home with all the nourishing and repairing stuff that she would need. You saw her 8 weeks later, and then what happened? Because it's a beautiful outcome.
Thank you so much. I'm very proud of this one. She was extremely happy. She was just going on her 10-year anniversary trip that weekend, so it was perfect. So she came in, she did everything I told her to. She used the mask, used the Olaplex. Her hair felt a lot nicer than when she left
I can imagine.
the first time. Yeah, so I just went back through and more or less did the same process over. It didn't take as long though, because we were already more than halfway there. So it was just less time. I lifted her again to as far as I could without compromising her hair, and then toned, and it looked beautiful.
As we wrap up here, are there any specific products that you really love that you would recommend? Obviously Olaplex, because that's an amazing product that the whole industry uses. What else specific do you love?
Olaplex, number 1. Yes, so I love our vegan line in Davines, the nourishing pack. I think it's amazing for hair that just needs a complete repair, to get as healthy as possible after being compromised in a service like this, or even prior to. I just think it's amazing. And then next to that, I would say our new, because that is for brittle hair that has been lightened a lot, which either one of those is amazing, as well as the Oi all-in-one.
Everybody's favorite.
Yes, that's amazing. I love that product. I think everyone can use it, even fine hair clients. It's a leave-in conditioner, and I think a lot of fine hair clients have issues finding something along the same lines that doesn't weigh their hair down, doesn't feel like, it's amazing for everybody.
Mm-hmm. And it's all about putting back in that moisture, putting back in that strength, so that you can go back through, and if you need to do a second process, do a second process, or just feel better after that initial process.
Yes.
Okay. Any parting words for our potential gray clients in the future? Anything that they need to know now?
No, I think now is the time. If you're even thinking of going back to your natural gray, I think now's the time to come in for a consultation, have that discussion, ask any questions that you may have. So I feel like a lot of people have let their hair grow out a bit, and they're
so you're as close as you're ever going to be.
Yes, it's the perfect time to just start going.
Courtney, thank you so much for coming in and sharing your gray hair expertise with us. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below. Slap a like on this video and make sure to subscribe to our channel. We're going to bring more content like this more regularly. We have a perm expert who we'll be doing an interview with shortly. And thank you so much for watching, and take it easy.